it's fascinating about your flight at night. What were the things that went through your mind as you prepared for takeoff in those over Okinawa and in those times during the war? The preparation that was involved. It must have been every night must have been a nervous evening.
Well, it was. If you talk about over here when you were flying,
Yeah.
teaching students, you knew that it was very dangerous because one of them sat in the pilot's seat, one of them was in the nose. He was a tracker. He had an aerial map, and he was supposed to track where you were. And of course, at night that's pretty tough. But there are certain ways you can tell with light. And the third one was in the navigation compartment. He was a navigator, and that's a joke in a B-25 too, because it's not stable enough to really do any celestial navigation. But that's what you did. And I never will forget one night. I had three of them up, a three-legged flight, 4.5-hour flight, and we were based in Edenton, North Carolina, which was a small town where the Neuse River bends to go out to the ocean.
Yes.
So I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have been to where we were. It was, like I say, a three-legged flight. So I asked the kid in the pilot's seat where he thought we were, and he pointed to a place on the map I didn't think was right, but I really hadn't paid too much attention. So I asked the kid in the nose, the tracker, and he pointed to an entirely different place. And I didn't think that was right either. And in those days, the eastern coast of North Carolina was totally black at night. There were very few towns.
Plus, were there blackouts because of the U-boats, or was it?
Well, that too, but there were very few settlements, and small ones.
Yeah.
So what you did if you didn't know what you were going to hit and you're going to have to crash land was a square search. And so I told all three of these kids what I was going to do, and I knew we were near the Neuse River, and I was hoping we'd land in the water. What you do is get it as slow as you can get it with the flaps down and the wheels up, and not knowing what you're going to hit, trees or water or what. But thank goodness none of these kids jumped. I'd have been a court-martial if they had. But just before I knew we were going to run out of gas, I see a straight line of lights ahead of me.
Wow.
So I put the wheel down and land. I have no idea where we are. And the engines quit before we finished the landing. And we were at a small town with a practice runway. But that's one of the things that you think about.
It's quite a story.
Well, and the plane that went down the Hudson River the other day.
A couple days ago, yeah. USA
I'm
flight.
lucky I didn't do that too, because we were practicing low-level bombing on the eastern coast of North Carolina,
Yes.
training flights. And that meant you came down to about 500 feet to release your bombs. And one day, a whole flock of ducks flew up in front of us and crashed through. They hit the engines. I wouldn't be here if they had, but they crashed the glass nose, slid through the compartment, the runway to the tunnel to the navigation compartment, and we had about 6 ducks in that navigation compartment. Wow. If any one of them had landed in an engine,
it would have been the end.
At 500 feet, we'd have never made it. So
It would have been the end.
it was close.